Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make this rather large, rather lavish, modern mansion. The only thing that I'm going to ask is that if you enjoy this tutorial, please do remember to hit that like button. It would really help me out, and that is pretty much everything. Without any further ado, let's get into the tutorial. So, to begin, I should let you know that the mansion will fit into this quite reasonably sized area. It's a 30 by 30 area. This accounts for absolutely everything that you saw at the start of this video. You will be able to fit the entire mansion and the gardens in an area that is as large as this. We also need all of these materials that you can see in my inventory right now. So make sure that you have absolutely every single one of these. I'm not promising that we won't need anything else, as I am very forgetful, but I do apologize if I do happen to miss a material. So make sure that you have all of these things, and make sure that you have an area that's big enough. If you have indeed made yourself a 30 by 30 area on the ground, I am going to begin by coming to the back left hand corner of the area. So right at this very back left hand corner, I'm going to move in diagonally like this, and this is where I'm going to start the build, right here. I'm going to begin by placing a row of 12 black concrete coming up from the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I then want to take this 12th block and I want to move it across the back of the build by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I then want to extend that 7th block forwards towards the front of the build by 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. We then want to take that 12th block and we want to extend it to the left, and the idea is that we will be able to connect that 12th block all the way to where we first started. So we want to take that 12th block, we want to extend it to the left, and then extend it backwards, like that. We can then take each one of the other 3 corners of the shape that we've made, and we want to extend the corners down to the ground. So we want to make a nice big solid, well, semi-solid rectangular shape, just as you can see me doing now. And once you have reached this point right here, we are going to do a few things. So to begin, we want to start on the right hand side of the shape. So the right hand side of the shape is very simple. We want to place 3 rows of glass underneath the top of the shape, moving downwards. So underneath this row of black, 3 rows of glass. 1, 2, and that will be 3. We then want to place a row of black concrete directly underneath the glass, and then we want to do something a little bit tricky again. So you can see where we have this black concrete here, okay? So this black concrete is connected to not only the upper part of the build, but also the front part of the build. It's this block right here. You can see that it's connected to the front and the top. We want to extend this block to the right across the build by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we want to go down by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we want to do 2 things. First, we want to connect back to where we were just building from. So that means that we want to build to the left like that. But we also want to build to the right from that 4th block. And we want to go right by 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And you want to take these 12 blocks, and you want to take the 12th block, place a grey in front of it, the 11th block, place a grey in front, 10th, 9th, 8th. So you want to take the last 5 blocks and place light grey in front of them. You then want to place another row of light grey in front of this. So another row of light grey in front of that. And then you want to place in front of the first 3 grey blocks, you want to place 3 stairs. Stone brick stairs specifically. So like this. 1, 2, 3. Place a block of quartz to the left of this, followed by a black concrete. And then you want to take that black concrete and extend it towards you by 3. 1, 2, 3. And then to the left by 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. You then want to extend that 10th block towards you by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then to the left. And you should find that you will connect to the left all the way back to the big shape that we were making earlier. So just like that. Now, once you have done that, we can make the next part. So there's so many things to do, I really am having difficulty like choosing what to do next. Okay, I've got it. Take out the black concrete. What we want to do is quite simple. We want to take the shape that we've just made, and we want to take the 3 corners of the shape, and we want to extend them down to the ground using black concrete. So the first corner is close to where we started the row of black concrete. It's right here. We want to connect that down. We also want to connect this corner block down to the ground as well using black concrete. And we also want to do the same with this block as well. It wants to be connected down to the ground. So anywhere that there is a bend, it wants to be connected down to the ground. We also want to place a few additional rows of black concrete. So remember the row of black concrete that we placed earlier underneath all of this glass? Well, we want to have that same row of black concrete. We want to have it move through the entire shape. So what this means is we want to take that row of black concrete and we want to have the same row of black moving all the way through that particular part of the house. And we want to do a similar thing down below. So you can see where we have these horizontal rows of black here. We want to take these rows of black and we want to extend them through the actual shape. So if that makes sense, it's like we want to have the horizontal rows of black, we want to have them move through and connect everything together. It almost looks as though like it has 3 separate levels now, if that makes sense. I'm sure that you guys will be able to piece all of that together. What we also want to do is we want to take this middle section here on the right of the build, underneath the part where we have the glass, and we want to, beginning from this black block here, we want to place a row of 4 quartz slab moving towards the back. So on top of this, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then place a row of black concrete coming upwards from the ground. 1, 2, 3. We then want to leave half a row's gap above the block of quartz or the quartz slab, and we want to place a row of quartz slab coming across the build. And then we want to leave another half a row's gap, and we just want to place another row of quartz slab. Then I'm personally going to choose to fill in behind this using black concrete, but you could equally use glass if you wanted a little bit more light, but I kind of like the effect that you get from doing that. I kind of like that. The area directly to the right of this is going to be an entrance. So if you like, you can better visualize it by like grabbing a door, and there's going to be like a double door in the middle of the entrance like this. And I'm going to place glass all the way around the doors. So if you just figure out where you want to have your doors, mine are going to be directly in the middle, like this. then you can place the glass around it. And just to make it look a bit fancier, I'm going to place a row of quartz slabs directly above the doors like this, in front of the glass. I also want to, it might actually be easier to do this. You know the row of quartz slab that we placed? If we extend it one row backwards, and then to the left here, we kind of want to have a few rows of quartz slabs filling in this particular section right here. So kind of like how we did over there, we want to have a few rows of quartz slab with just half a row's gap in between them, because it kind of looks nice to have that basically. So something like that actually looks quite nice. I'm also going to take the opportunity to fill in this big L shape right here. This is going to be filled in almost exclusively with light grey concrete. You are going to be able to walk up and down on top of this area. This is like a garden terrace, and you just want to fill it in with light grey concrete or with whatever material you might like to use. There we go. Easy enough. Okay, so before we get much further, I think it's about time that we add some framework to the house. This black concrete framework looks lovely, but this is much more internal. You're not supposed to see a lot of this black concrete right here. We have to add a lot of block of quartz. So to begin, we're going to come all the way to where we have these stairs. We want to take the block of quartz that we have going left of these stone stairs, and we want to extend the quartz forwards like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Extend the quartz down to the ground, and by extend the quartz down to the ground, I mean every single one of them, like this. We then want to take this row of block of quartz that is furthest out in front of the house, and we want to take the top row of block of quartz and we want to place a row of quartz slab going left in front of the top half of black concrete that we placed a little bit earlier. And this row of block of quartz or quartz slabs actually wants to just come all the way around the black concrete, and it wants to border around, and it's going to come back as far as here, specifically right there. So we want to have something which should look like this. We want to take the last quartz slab that we placed, and you want to place a row of 4 block of quartz on top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then extend that block of quartz to the right by 2. 1, 2. And we want to place a row of block of quartz that comes all the way back like this in front of the row of the black concrete that we placed earlier. And it wants to also come around this row of black concrete that we placed earlier as well. Like it wants to just kind of like come all the way around. It wants to come round the side and then around the back like this. So the effect that we're looking for should look very similar to that. Then I kind of want to create like an overhang. So where we have this row of block of quartz here that we've kind of like just extended out, I want to take all of the blocks except this end one, and I want to place a row of quartz slab in front of this. And then another one in front of that, just to create kind of like a little bit of detail. It just kind of looks like a nice little overhang. And also, next to the entrance that we have in this particular part of the build, I kind of want to put a cauldron in front of this left glass and this right glass with some jungle leaves above the cauldron, just to create a nice little bit of an atmosphere like that. But you can see that in adding the block of quartz framework, we have really improved the look of the build quite a bit. Now, the next thing we want to do is kind of continuing on from where we placed this last quartz slab. You can remember that we went above this. We want to also connect that slab down to the ground using both a quartz slab and then quartz block, like that. I also want to turn all of this row of quartz slab here, I want to turn it into quartz blocks, like this. So all of this row, like that. And I want to take this corner block in particular and I want to extend it down to the ground using block of quartz. I also want to take this particular corner here and I want to extend this corner down to the ground using a mixture of slab and quartz. Now, the problem here is if you look at this, we now can't see, like, there's no row of black concrete that we can see. So I'm just simply going to add a row of black concrete here, like this. And I might even add, I don't think I'll actually add one here on the right just to be a bit different. But here, I especially want to add the black concrete because there is an entrance. So simply, all I'm going to do right here is I'm going to place an iron door right in the very center of the black concrete. And I'm going to place some blue stained glass around the door, just because I like blue stained glass. And then above and across the door, I want to place a row of quartz slabs like that. And that just works out to be a nice little entrance to the house. I want to fill in the area to the left here. I'm going to fill this in using blue stained glass block. And similarly, I want to take this larger area here, and I'm going to do it from the inside, and I also want to fill this in with glass block also. You see what I mean? I kind of like having a bit of a difference here in the shapes, so that it's not all the same, like it doesn't all follow the exact same formula, like that. For this area as well, in particular, you might find that, like me, I kind of like fake bushes, so some birchwood fence and and lime concrete actually work nice. And if you leave a gap of one every other block in front of the window, something like that, and then if you place 2 lime concrete on top of the fence, it kind of looks like fake trees, and it looks quite nice in my opinion. I quite like how that effect works out. It's up to you whether you want to add that though, it's not absolutely necessary. Now, the next thing that we're going to do, focusing on this part of the house in particular, is I want to work out the shape of the house a bit more. So what this means is I want to take this row of block of quartz. You know, this one that we placed earlier, this vertical row of block of quartz. Coming in front of this, inwards diagonally, so like in this position, I want to place a row of 8 black concrete coming up from the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like that. I then want to take that 8th block and extend it forwards by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then to the left by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I want to extend it backwards to connect back to the house. So we want to have a shape like this. We then want to take the corners, this one first, and we want to extend the corners down to the ground, like that first corner, and then this second corner, and we just want to extend them down to the ground just like that. Then I want to create yet another entrance. So there's going to be yet another entrance here in the middle of this particular part of the house. I'm going to place an iron door there. I'm then going to place glass left and right of the iron door like this, and then also above it. Then I'm going to place a row of black concrete above the glass. And then I'm going to place another row of black concrete. This is the first time that we've had 2 rows. And then 2 rows of glass. Like that. Now, what we want to do is we want to take those 2 rows of black concrete and we want to extend them through the house like this, and we want to connect them back to the house as well. So kind of like how we did earlier, where we placed all of those rows of black concrete, like moving through the house, we want to have the same sort of deal like that. And in this case also, we want to place a row of block of quartz coming around the second row of black. So what that means is literally around the second row of black that we place a row of block of quartz that comes all the way around what we've just made, like this. So you can see what I'm doing here, it's quite simple. And we should have something which should look exactly like that. Now, with the top of this, we actually want to take quartz slabs, and we want to place a row of quartz slabs that comes all the way around the top of the black concrete at the top of the build. So, just like this. Very similar to what we did with the block of quartz, but not exactly. We want to move all the way around the top of the build, just to give it a bit more of an interesting look. I mean, just a much more like interesting trim. Now, once you've done that, we want to create a couple of entrances. So the first entrance is on this particular part of the house. All the way up at the top, on the left hand side, we are going to have a double door using iron doors in this position. Here and here. I want to place glass above the doors with black concrete to the side of the doors. I'm going to fill in to the right of this with glass, like that. And I'm also going to place an additional black concrete here, just so that it looks a little bit more uniform. I'm also going to fill in the top of this using blue stained glass block, but the problem that we're going to have here later is to move through the house. We're actually going to want to leave like a few of these blocks alone and only place a little bit of blue glass, because we're going to be creating a staircase that will allow us to move from this part up to this part, if that makes sense. I mean, we can even do it now. Like, you can use quartz stairs like here, like in front of the bottom of the doors, and you can place like a row of quartz stairs that like connects us down into this particular part of the house. So like, if this makes sense, like you're going to be able to want to walk in here and then up like that. So whether that means that you then want to fill in a gap a little bit, because we should be able to like walk down onto this. And I might even add a little bit of a floor in here as well, just to see if this all works. Because you guys are going to see how this is all going to like connect together and fit together once we eventually get to the end of this tutorial. It is kind of a particular build, and it isn't exactly 100% logical how you do move through all of the rooms, but I'll show you that by the end. And so the idea is that we want to be able to walk from here up to here without getting impeded, which we don't now, which is really good. So far we want to have something which should look like this. We also want to fill in the other 2 sides of the top big part of the house. I'm going to choose to fill them in using pretty much just blue glass. However, if you want to, you can use some other materials that you might find a bit more fitting. I also want to fill in the roof also with blue glass, just to make it look a little bit nicer and to add in some additional natural light. To give the roof a trim, I'm going to place a row of quartz slab that goes all the way around the top of the black concrete row. That is the roof. Like the very top of the house, I want to place a row of quartz slab that goes all the way around the top, just orbiting it. I also want to leave half a row's gap coming downwards, and I want to have the same effect here as well. Like that. So all in all, we have a house which so far looks like this, and it is looking very, very nice at the moment. But there are a couple of things that are missing. For instance, I want to also fill in this part here where we have the stairs. I want to add some glass in this part here too. I want to add glass blocks to form a window. But here's where things get a bit weird. Like, we also want to have doors here. We want to have double doors here, which kind of like coincide with where we have these stairs. So we want to be able to have double doors here, and you can see where they kind of fit in as well. And then I'm going to place a row of black concrete to the right of the doors with glass next to it, just to further solidify that. Now, I want to take it gets tricky to explain positioning, but I want to take like this black concrete block here, or underneath this quartz block. I want to place a quartz underneath, and then extend it towards me by 3. 1, 2, 3. Then I want to place 2 quartz slabs moving towards me from the lower half of the block. 1, 2. Then 2 block of quartz. 1, 2. And then I'm going to extend the block of quartz backwards by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to extend this backwards, and I'll connect very nicely underneath that particular block, like that. I want to place a row of black concrete all the way around the inside of the shape that I've made. So all the way around the inside of the block of quartz, I want to place some black concrete, and I might actually have it look like a U shape like this. And then I'm going to fill the center of this in using light grey concrete, because I'm realizing that we could do with making a little bit of a step up like here. So it might actually make sense if we perhaps destroyed these 2 quartz blocks and turned them into stairs. And we might also place a little bit of blue stained glass on top of the black, like this. And that might look a little bit more appealing, perhaps, and you're less likely to fall off, I suppose. I also want to take this corner, this black concrete block corner, and I want to connect it down to the ground so that it looks like a support. And I want to take the other black block as well, the other corner block, and I want to connect this down to create a support. Plus, it now looks like kind of like a little bit of an overhang / gazebo. I want to be able to extend the quartz slabs here. I want to be able to take them down to the ground. So I want to place a row of quartz stairs in front of and below the quartz slab. So in this position. And I want to place a block of quartz in front of and below the quartz stairs like this. And I'm going to extend them 1 row further, and then place quartz stairs coming like towards the front of the house. Like I want to place stairs here and also here. So now you can kind of see how the house is laid out, and we have actually made a large portion of the actual house itself. We do have to do the garden though. So if this makes sense, we want to be able to take these stairs here, walk them all the way up. We want to be able to walk into the house, into this room, up to the very top floor there, and we don't want to have too many problems. We want to be able to mobilize ourselves around the house very, very quickly and efficiently. I also want to fill in this part of the house here. I'm going to fill in this area using glass, like this. And where else do I want to fill in? Okay, so I also want to fill in this particular part with glass as well, like opposite of where we have that nice entrance. And I don't know whether I want to add a row of quartz slab or something to that entrance. And then I actually kind of want to fill all of the rest of this space in using block of quartz. So like these 2 rooms, these back rooms, I kind of want to fill in using a block of quartz. And the reason for this is that a lot of modern houses are just about see-through, which I don't like very much. So if you can imagine that I kind of just want to like conceal all of these rooms here. So like this room as well, coming all the way up to the top of here. I'm just kind of choosing the area that I want to fill in using block of quartz. So like all of this, I'm just going to fill all of this particular area in using block of quartz. But if you feel as though that you would like some more open rooms with some more open light, you might find that you want to add some glass to them instead, or perhaps you want to create a pattern using slabs, or whatever other block that you might want to use. But for me, in particular, I do like to have some empty spaces, some like just filled in nice block spaces in modern houses, because otherwise a lot of the time they're just kind of like turned into showpieces, and it's a little bit weird I find if there's too much glass. But that is just my personal opinion. So something like this actually looks fine to me, especially because it's the back of the house where not that many people are going to be skulking around, I imagine. So far, we want to have something which looks exactly like this. And this is looking very, very good at the moment. But we do have a few more things to do. So I want to lay out where the boundaries of this house are. And what that means is I kind of want to create a wall around the house. I've already done it, right? So I've already placed a row of 30 by 30 green concrete. It's not green concrete, it's actually green terracotta. So I've already placed a row of green terracotta around the outside of the house. So I already know where I want to have a nice wall, a nice foundation, yeah? So I want you guys to do something similar to this. I want you to figure out what area you want to have for your house. This is a 30 by 30 area and I want a wall around it. Like that. But I also want to have an entrance. The entrance to the area is actually going to be where the front right hand corner is, and I want to knock out not one row, not two, but 3 rows. These 3 rows right here, I want to knock them out, and this is how I'm going to walk in and out of the actual property itself. But I want to create a bit of a wall, and to do that, I'm going to take this row of stone brick stairs that we have right here, and I want to place a few rows of stone brick stairs coming down to the ground like this, and I want to now be able to walk onto the terrace that we have on the middle part of the house. So I now want to be able to walk up onto this, no problem. But I also want to create a wall of block of quartz directly to the right of these stairs, like this, that just fills in the area. So we don't want to be able to see through the side of the stairs or anything like that. We just want to be able to, it actually wants to be in line with where this row of block of quartz is here. So it wants to look like this. But the reason that this is relevant is I want to take this front right hand corner block, I want to extend it up by 1, and then I want to place a row of jungle leaves moving backwards to create a heightened wall like this. I also want to create a pathway. So where we have these 3 empty blocks which allow us to move into the house, I want to destroy this row of 3, and I want to destroy it all the way back until it connects with the stone brick stairs. Now, this is important because I want to lay out all of the pathways which will get you into the house, if that makes sense. So like that, we now have these 3 rows. I also want to be connected to the first lower floor entrance here, and I want to use a row of 3 grey concrete pretty much everywhere, not absolutely everywhere, but pretty much everywhere. It's a row of 3 thick path like this. And I also want to be able to connect to this entrance here. So this means digging out a row of 3 here, moving all the way to the right. And I want to leave maybe like a 2 block gap here so that we can place some nice grass. And I just want to be able to connect like to the entranceway here, if this makes sense. So like I want to have a path network like this using mainly light grey concrete, and I want to be able to walk to each one of the 3 entrances. But not only that, I would also like to connect to these stairs here as well. So that'll all get filled in using light grey concrete. But we also have to place a pool. The way that we're going to work this out is we're going to take this row of block of quartz here, left of the entrance, and we're going to place a row of block of quartz moving up alongside of the entrance path like this. And it's just going to be placed along the grass until it reaches the end. I want to extend the end block upwards by 1. And I want to place a pool that is going to have a two rows of grass around it. So if this makes sense, I want to leave a row of 2 gap here, and I want to place quartz slab, and I want to place it in such a way that everywhere I will have 2 rows of space around it, just in this corner, if that makes sense, like that. And what I'm going to be doing now, and I'm not going to do this on recording, by the way, because I think that it'd be better served off recording, because it's going to take a while to do. I'm going to dig out the pool. Right, I'll dig out this pool. I'll put a nice base in it, something like something like white concrete or something, or maybe even some black concrete or something like that. Just to cut, or maybe even blue concrete might look nice to give it like a deeper blue, the bottom of the pool. I will also place all of the light grey in the path framework that we've created, like that. I'll place it all the way in this, all around in here, like this. And I'll also replace all of the regular grass using lime terracotta. And in certain places around the house, like I'll destroy like underneath the frame, like in these places here, and I'll place like block of quartz, like just to connect the frame together at the bottom. So like in this position, for instance, I'd do that, and I'd also do it here as well. There's not too many places though that I would actually do that, but something like that would actually look good. You see that it kind of just like highlights those particular parts of the houses. But these are all of the things that I'm going to accomplish. Oh, and also I'm going to place some fake trees here as well. And you know, guys know what my fake trees look like. It's basically like a birch fence, like this, with lime concrete above it. So I'm just going to have some nice fake bushes just there in that position probably, and not too much else. This house is almost done. So allow me to do all of those changes, guys, and then I'll be back once I've done them. It's probably going to take quite a while. So this is what the whole place looks like once you have ripped up all of the grass, replaced it with fake grass, once you've placed all of the path, once you have filled in the pool as well. I also decided, by the way, to put some blue concrete at the very bottom of it to make it just a bit more blue. And I did also install all of the floors in the house as well, as you might be able to see. And if you've managed to follow this tutorial, and if you have taken those steps that I have just described, then you should end up with this rather lavish, rather large, modern mansion. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please do remember to hit that like button. It really helps me out amongst, like, beyond anything, it really does. Amongst all of the things that you can do to support me, hitting that like helps the most. If you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you enjoy the content enough, click the little bell next to the subscription button to ensure that you get all my stuff sent directly to your sub box. And comment down below if you've done that. I'd be very interested to see if you are a notification subscriber. And if you would like to see anything else in the future, please do leave a comment down below. And if you want to check out some of my other stuff that you might be able to see around me, we have a couple of, like, that's a roller coaster, that's a Tetris house, but we also have another modern mansion, and we have all sorts of different crazy builds around here. Check out the card system and the description below. I do a little bit of everything. I've been doing a lot of cartoon related builds recently, but I hope that you guys don't mind that. Thank you so much for watching, have a great day, I appreciate you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.